The book of Genesis, chapter 11, verses 10 through 11. These are the generations of Shem. Shem was 100 years old, and begat Arphaxad 2 years after the flood. And Shem lived after he begat Arphaxad 500 years, and begat sons and daughters. In these verses, we see the beginning of Shem's lineage, a testament to God's promise and faithfulness. Shem, a survivor of the great flood, represents a new beginning and a continuation of God's covenant with humanity. His long life and the birth of his son Arphaxad signify hope and the enduring nature of God's blessings. In our lives, we too can be symbols of new beginnings and hope. Just as Shem's lineage continued despite the flood, we can rise above our challenges and trust in God's promises. Let us embrace our roles as bearers of hope and faith, knowing that God's blessings are enduring and ever-present. The book of Genesis, chapter 11, verses 12 through 13. And Arphaxad lived 35 years, and begat Salah. And Arphaxad lived after he begat Salah 403 years, and begat sons and daughters. Arphaxad's life and the birth of his son Salah continue the lineage of Shem. This passage highlights the importance of family and the continuation of faith through generations. Each generation carries the torch of faith, passing it on to the next, ensuring that God's promises and teachings endure. In our modern lives, we are called to nurture and pass on our faith to the next generation. Whether through teaching, example, or prayer, we have a responsibility to ensure that the light of faith continues to shine brightly. Let us commit to being faithful stewards of God's Word, guiding and inspiring those who come after us. The book of Genesis, chapter 11, verses 14 through 15. And Salah lived 30 years and begat Eber. And Salah lived after he begat Eber 403 years, and begat sons and daughters. Salah's life and the birth of Eber further extend the lineage of Shem. This passage reminds us of the continuity of God's plan and the importance of each individual's role in that plan. Every person in this lineage, though briefly mentioned, plays a crucial part in the unfolding of God's promises. We too have a unique role in God's plan. No matter how small or insignificant we may feel, our lives have purpose and meaning. Let us find comfort in knowing that we are part of a greater story, and our contributions, no matter how small, are valuable in the eyes of God. The book of Genesis, chapter 11, verses 16 through 17. And Eber lived 34 years, and begat Peleg. And Eber lived after he begat Peleg 430 years, and begat sons and daughters. Eber's life and the birth of Peleg continue the lineage, emphasizing the steadfastness of God's promises. The name Peleg, meaning division, signifies a time of change and transition. Yet, through these changes, God's covenant remains unbroken and His faithfulness unwavering. In our lives, we often face times of change and uncertainty. However, we can find reassurance in God's unchanging nature and His steadfast promises. Let us hold on to our faith, trusting that God is with us through every transition and that His plans for us are good. The book of Genesis, chapter 11, verses 18 through 26. And Peleg lived 30 years, and begat Reu. And Peleg lived after he begat Reu 209 years, and begat sons and daughters. And Reu lived 32 years, and begat Serug. And Reu lived after he begat Serug 207 years, and begat sons and daughters. And Serug lived 30 years, and begat Nahor. And Serug lived after he begat Nahor 200 years, and begat sons and daughters. And Nahor lived 29 years, and begat Terah. And Nahor lived after he begat Terah 119 years, and begat sons and daughters. And Terah lived 70 years and begat Abram, Nahor, and Haran. This passage brings us to the birth of Abram, later known as Abraham, a pivotal figure in the Bible. The lineage from Shem to Abram shows the fulfillment of God's promises and the preparation for the great covenant with Abraham. Each generation, with its trials and triumphs, leads to the emergence of a key figure in God's plan. In our own lives, we may not always see the bigger picture, but we can trust that God is at work, preparing us for His purposes. Let us be patient and faithful, knowing that our lives are part of a divine tapestry, woven with care and intention by our Creator.